Uh,
Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. We are in the main topic of our live show. If you missed the full live show, we're here live every Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoon around 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern. For a few hours, we hang out about all the news, but we always have one main topic that we get to, and this episode gets trimmed down to show you that main topic. And today we got Steph here who stayed up all night reading the book, Omid Scobie's Endgame. I keep forgetting his name. The lick spittle, as Piers Morgan calls him, I think defines him quite well. For those of you unaware who he is, he wrote Finding Freedom, another book that Meghan helped him, give him intel on. Meghan denied this. She lied about it. And then guess what happened, guys? There was a discovery through a trial. She had to apologize. She was caught actually helping Omid write the book. It's very clear these two are besties. It's very clear that Meghan uses a lot of third parties to get this sort of information out, so there's no blood on her hands. And Omid is one of their absolute besties who defends them no matter what. And as Pierce calls him, yes, lick spittle, literally like an old medieval term, as he calls it, a professor named a flatterer who licked the spittle of Dionysus the tyrant and said that it was sweeter than the sweet wine. And so Pierce is now called Omid lick spittle because it literally means someone willing to lick the spittle off another person's lips and tell them it's sweeter than sweet wine, however awful that person may be. In modern parlance, it's come to denote a fawning, sycophantic, brown-nosing toady who gushes insincere flattery for personal gain. Which brings us to Omid Scobie and his book Endgame. Which, do you think that sums it up? As someone who read it quickly, is that a fair summation, as Pierce has just said?
Oh, I'd add a hell of a lot more to that, but it's a good start.
It's pretty harsh, but I think accurate. All right, so here's where we need to start. Because as Pierce breaks down, and I did a video about this, but I go watch the one because you'll see it all there specifically. But what was really interesting about what Pierce revealed is that Scooby-Doos, whatever, I have a million names we got for him, lick spittle, he's just a proven liar. Why do we know this? Well, he lied about his own age. In 2020, he told journalist Andrew Billen that he was 33 when he in fact was 38. He then tried to lie about his lying, insisting he never told Billen his false age until Billen confirmed it was all on tape. That was unfortunate and naive of me, Scobie told The Times this week. You live and you learn. And yes, we have that whole article here. So Steph, like right out the gate, hold on. Oh, there it is. Scobie didn't, sorry, this is another article. I had it here. Come on. Scobie didn't help himself when Finding Freedom came out by claiming to be 6 years younger than he really was in an interview before being found out by someone on the internet. I'm 42, he tells me when I ask about the episode. I work in an industry where I'm surrounded by people who are, let's say, conservative with telling their age, particularly in television. It was par for the course to swipe a few years off. Scobie says he had a little insecurity about turning 40 and gambled that no one would ever really know or care about him enough to check. You learn from those mistakes. I can't do much more than own it, he says sheepishly. I mean, here's my problem. Yeah, I know people fudge their age as journalists, etc., like newscasters and so on. But this isn't good if you are someone who's out there trying to tell the truth, right, Steph? If you are a person who's an author who's writing books and articles as someone, a truth teller, if you will, and you're hung up on your age, insecure and lying about your age, which is such a dumb little thing to lie about. Why? And then your credibility is now completely shot through the window. How am I supposed to believe anything you tell me now if you're willing to lie about that? And I can understand some actresses and things doing that because, again, they're performing, they're acting. They don't want to be seen as a certain age, Steph. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to be aged or dated. They want to be able to play any role because they're performers. So are you admitting, Scobie, that you're a performer, that you're it's not accurate. It's what you want us to believe. You're an actor because there's no other justification for that in my book. Do you disagree, Steph?
No, I don't disagree at all. It's exactly what you said. For someone who says that they report accurately on the royal family, to lie about who you are, your age, that knocks so much off of your credibility just there and then as a supposed truth teller, right? But this is Omid Scobie we're talking about, so you could excuse him, let's say, for lying about his age, because so many people have done, right? Celebrities, newscasters, and all that lot. You could say, yeah, all right, that's par for the course. People lie about their age in the industry. Okay, fair enough. You take that to one side. Yeah, he's still lied about other things anyway, that he's been debunked on. So he's not credible anyway. Even if you take away the fact that he lied about his age, he's still not credible anyway.
Yeah, well, there's more to it. It's not just that, and so, but this comes in as sort of a point of like the book where it's like, dude, now I can't trust you. I can't trust what you're saying. And he continues to talk about the lies. In the same Times interview, he said he'd never used private jets until the interview said she'd seen a recent photo of him on his Instagram showing him on a private jet. Okay, that was a private jet, but that was only to LA to Palm Springs. It was very short. Only a little lie, as Pearson damningly calls out. And then the photo was swiftly deleted from his Instagram. Like, again, these are, sure, little lies, whatever you want to call them, they're still lies. And they're not good to his credibility as a journalist, as an author who's supposed to be out there telling these truths. Look at these dumb little things to lie about. So if he'll lie about those stuff, it's not hard to assume he's going to lie about anything he gets, because who's going to really know? Who's going to really tell? That's what they're just going to believe. You know what I mean? Even this dumb jet thing, isn't this a stupid thing to lie about?
It was absolutely a stupid thing to lie about. He took a picture. There's the receipts. He's on a private jet. It's as simple as that. But it's like, why he felt he had to lie about that, it is beyond me, really, at that point. You took a private jet. Own it. Own it. But, Scobie the past couple of weeks has been having meltdowns on Twitter, left, right, and centre anyway. There was an article at the Daily Mail saying that he owned Chanel skis, and he was like, Daily Mail, get it right. It's not Chanel skis that I own. It's these kind of skis that I own. And when I did a video on it, Chanel skis are like £2,400, and the skis that he owns are like 1,700 or something. So there's not much in it anyway, in terms of the ski price. But yeah, he's quick to try and set the record straight when people lie about him, but when he lies,
yeah, he's
not so quick to set the record straight until he gets found out.
He's all on his Twitter very quickly trying to explain how the news is twisting the facts and misquoting him and bullshit. Whether you like my work or loathe it, all I ask is that if you are reading coverage about what's supposedly inside, please also read the book itself. Incorrect and bad translations, snippets without context, leaks do not tell the full or accurate story. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm good. I did that. I'm good.
I did it so you guys didn't have to. 8.5 hours. That'll never be able to get back in my life, but it's done.
That was like your Jamie Lynn Spears book. We've all taken the hit for the journalism. But here's where I have more to go through. But I want to get to the fact, because I didn't get to watch Steph's video about it because I know she did a live, but there's been something I've known about for a while that Steph finally put out there, which is the fact that Omid reached out to Steph. Now, I don't know what I'm at liberty to say. I'll be careful here, Steph, but I knew of this because she did come to me for counsel, and I'm not going to share what Scobie said because I know neither of us do that kind of thing. But I think it's safe to say, Steph, I hope I'm not overstepping, this man's a scumbag. because from what I gathered, and I'm to defend Steph here, Steph, for a moment, trusted him because that's who Steph is. Steph is not the anti-Meghan jerk that everyone assumes, right? There was a moment where Steph came to me concerned, like, well, what do I do about this? Because wow, interesting. And Scobie had reached out to sort of attempt to correct the record, as he tried to tell people, right? And, for a moment, we both, we wanted to do the right thing because that's our job, to not be biased, right, Steph? To attempt to be the better person. But as I did more due diligence for Steph, and Steph did her own as well, we quickly realized we were not the first people he wrote out to. But he told Steph that she was the only person that he had reached out to. It was this very sneaky, gaslighting, controlling way he was speaking to her and trying to use her for his own game and play victim and play all the stuff that he did to try to twist the facts and play to her like, come on, you blah, 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 blah. It's sort of the gist, right? Without over trying to say exacts. But it was really bothersome to me because he said something to the course. I'm not going to quote him directly or share the DMs, but there was something, as I heard from you, Steph, that he said, I've never done this before. And that really bothered me because we learned that was false.
Yeah, so let me just clarify something. I've never trusted Omid Scobie. Never have, never will do. Well, can't trust him as far as I could throw him, right? But though what we did consider, because we consider all sides, right, guys? That's what we do. We considered for a moment, hang on a minute, is he telling the truth?
Right.
We had to consider that. Mm-hmm. We had to consider that.
Because you're a good, honest person who makes sure you don't report false bullshit.
Correct. And yeah, I quickly spoke to, let's say, some of my friends on YouTube. And yeah, no, I'm not the first person that he has DM'd or spoken to from the YouTube world on Twitter. So yeah, there was a little bit, I would say, of gaslighting there. But the whole point of my stream on Sunday, which turned out to be a little bit controversial, interestingly enough, was that it was all good news, really, at the end of the day, because the Omid Scobie isn't the best friend that the Sugar Squad thinks that he is. That he has actually publicly condemned the Sugar Squad on Twitter. So, yeah, he's a snake, not only to us, you know, that more often than not criticize Heather and Magsy, but he's also a snake to the Sugar Squad as well. And it's got to hurt for the Sugar Squad to know that their legitimacy now is dented because they don't have the full support of Heather and Megsy's cheerleader as much as they thought that they did anyway. So
thank you, because you took it right where I wanted to go, because that was the next portion I wanted to get to, which is the fact that he's now using that Sussex squad, the Sugars, to promote the book. And he's basically imploring the terrorists that he's disavowed to go and try to sell his book for him. That's how much of a weasel this guy really actually is. And we know we're not saying this because we hate Meghan or we hate him or we hate Ari. We can now, Steph is pretty awesome. We can say it because he reached out directly and proved it himself. He did this himself. He DM'd Steph himself. He dug his own hole. We attempted to hear him out. And then we realized, oh no, he's just saving face. He's saving face because, yeah, he's playing all sides is what he's really trying to do. And he's trying to do it sneakily and snakily and weaselly to make himself look better. And man, that does remind me of somebody, Steph. It feels very Meghan. It feels very manipulative. It's wild to see that this guy's book now is out there doing all these things. And now we have actually some firsthand experience, which Steph, bravo, by the way. You got to the point where Omid was threatened by you, Steph. He was scared of you. He wrote, I was so proud of her. I was like, you made it. This man's like watching your videos, freaking out. Oh my God, I gotta see. Steph can't say that about me. That is such a win that everybody go support and subscribe if you haven't already, because it was a massive win. I was very proud of you, Steph. Good job. And yeah, it was something that we're like, all right, great. Let's see. Maybe we can actually figure this out. Is this truthful? Let's try to hear him out more, right? Let's hear it. Not just flat out believe it, but let's be respectful. And he wasn't respectful. He was clearly using Steph to try to get the story erased and to gaslight her into thinking this is special. I'm only talking to you. Oh, so please don't betray my trust. Oh, fuck you, Scobie. Fuck you. And the horse you ran in on, I'm not buying it. Now that said, yes, he did prove, though, he's called out this Sussex squad, which was a win. And it was good. And that's what we were all just trying to agree on. Like, disavow these fucking crazy people, right? And what's funny is he did. There are examples on Twitter. We have them where he's called it out and said, don't do this. And they still do it. I think he just he's doing that publicly, but I bet you there are some private exchanges where it's like, still do it, but I'm going to pretend like I can't endorse it. That type of behavior, I absolutely think is happening because he's still using them to promote this book. Literally, this Sussex squad is one of the. I think it is. The Snyder Army was pretty bad, but I really think that was just a bunch of kids who just didn't know any better. This crowd is like psychopaths, like so like just unhinged. Like they're in a different reality. They're older too, so it's a little scarier because they should know better. And these people will threaten, dox, and attempt to harm, and it's really scary. And so he's using them still, even though he disavowed them, to sell this book. So, Steph, does that upset you to know that he's arming the terrorists that he's apparently disavowed to you, and now trying to use them to sell his book?
No, because it just screams out his hypocrisy even further. He's condemned them in the past publicly, and here he's using them to promote the book. It's like, wow. Okay. It's like, so Six Squad, literally, I've done you guys a favor. Like, he does not like you. He does not approve of your message, especially when you are toxic and nasty, which is pretty much 99.9% of the time, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you are being, well, you're fools anyway, but you're being more fools than usual. Being used by Omid Scobie. Well done, morons.
And well done, General Scott. I salute you. Thank you for the $2 earlier. Please keep those sugar bucks coming. We appreciate all you guys. And yeah, it's scary, man, because why don't we like Meghan, Harry, and Omid, all these people? Because they're total hypocrite snakes. Like, they're just slimy, sleazy people. And if they really just wanted to go away and be left alone, they wouldn't be doing all this manipulation, gaslighting, and hatred out there that they're actually doing. So I understand why there's so many people who still report and don't like them and want to expose them. It makes sense, honestly. Because there's part stuff, right? I've said to you, like, why do we still talk about it? And there's days where I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it every day. But when she does something, yeah, I want to call it out, of course. And I think it's justifiable to call out because they're complete phonies. And until they admit it and own it and go away, yeah, if they want to be in the public light, they got to be prepared for it. Them more so than others. And so, yet another example why this book is full of crap and why this book shouldn't be trusted. And as the reviews are coming in, and we're going to talk about it more on the long form show with Steph, I also want to play his Good Morning America clip. We'll go there a little bit. But from all the reviews I'm seeing, more like action replay than Endgame. Everyone is just very underwhelmed by the reveals and the stuff that it's apparently promising, which is all this amazing revelations. It's all stuff we knew. It's all guesses. There's nothing in here that really shocks the world. And it's all a bunch of stuff that clearly Meghan and Harry bullshit that they fed him to put out in the world, which again is my biggest problem with this book, Steph, as I called it right away. This is WAH Part 2. It is. It's like the unofficial WAH Part 2 where they get to go all over again and then sit back and try to pretend like it's not them when clearly they're involved. And if they weren't, rep would disavow. It'd be so easy for them to be like, we do not endorse this book. We are not friendly with him. It's just very easy to, say we didn't want this book out there. We don't want it. Like, there's ways you can do it, right? And they've chosen to be silent on it and allow everyone to just know that there's a relationship there, and they won't disavow it. The fact that they won't do that, to me, only reiterates the fact that, of course, they got a copy of this book before it was finished to vet it, to sign off on it, if you will. Am I crazy in that? Do you agree, Steph? Do you think a manuscript was... Do you think she was actually helping him write it through the whole process? Or do you think at least it was given to them before it was finished for feedback? How involved do you think Meghan and Harry were in this book?
Binny conspiracy theory, whatever, I definitely think they were involved in this book. There are details in this book where you think, how could he have known? How could he have known if not for Hazza and Megsy? So let me go with, like, let's say the most obvious example, the first excerpt that was released in People magazine last week, right? And there's a bit in there where it says that Hazza was getting a phone call from an unknown number and that usually he doesn't answer them But Megsy turned around and said, you better answer that. Now, this was on the day that the late Queen Elizabeth II passed away. So I got 3 questions. So for how he knew that. A, how did he know that Hazard doesn't answer unknown calls? B, how does he know that the call that came through was an unknown call? And 3, how does he know that Megsy turned around and says, you better answer that, and that he answered it? Generally speaking, you can safely assume that if someone doesn't answer an unknown call, they're not going to answer it. So how did he know that with this instance, there was an exception and he answered it? It's details like that.
Yeah.
And you think, well, hang on a minute. You logically and you quickly put your thinking hat on, critical thinking. You think, hang on a minute, how? How would you know those details if not for Hazard and Megsy? Now, there's a bit in the Endgame book where he discusses finding freedom. And he tries to square the circle with Megsy's involvement on what Omid knew and what he didn't know. And the way that I read it was this, that he admits, yes, the emails came out in the end and it showed of Megsy's involvement. But the way that he was then trying to argue his position in it was that he didn't know that Megsy was involved. That all along, he was just dealing with Jason Knauf and that was it. And that he didn't know of Megsy's involvement in the background, which is why he was still emphatically saying that Megsy and Hazard had no involvement whatsoever on TV interviews, this, that, and the other. That's how he's trying to square the circle with that. I'm calling BS on that all day long. All day long. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't make. I mean, I can understand why he's trying to. But yeah, he needs to justify it, right? They need to distance themselves away from each other, and because he got caught. And the problem is, they need to distance it, but they can't because they can't disavow it because exactly then the book's completely full of shit, and that's their friend who they need on their side. So they're stuck in a situation where if they disavow it, right? Well, then none of it makes sense. You have no source, and this is all made up, which it could be. Let's be honest. A lot of this could be made up. Or, yeah, you're being fed this info by Meghan and Harry directly, in which case, gross. Like, I thought we were all trying to move on. I thought we're done complaining. I don't see the royals out there writing books like this. How much more do you need to do? Like, if you're Meghan and you're friends with this guy, wouldn't you think, no, just stop. I want privacy for real. There's too much out there. I don't want any more spotlight on it. I don't want to be with them. As to quote her, apparently, I want nothing to do with them. Please don't engage. Please don't make this more of a thing. We just want to move on with our lives. That's what a normal, rational person who's friends with Omid would do, right? So again, it's 2 solutions. He's either making it up, in which case then it's all full of crap and what a disgusting, crazy loser. You'd think Meghan and Harry would at least then call him out. Or more likely, yes, she is feeding that and she wants it out there. And then that's even more despicable because they're just fanning the flames again to create more of the royal racism. They're just stretching it out. Basically, what we all thought was happening is happening, and they just can't stop themselves, and they won't stop themselves. And
we want privacy.
The tour continues. The tour continues.
We want privacy. We want privacy. We want privacy.
Wish I had my sign. Wish I had my sign. Anyway, it's all very maddening. There's so much more I want to talk about. Oh, shut up, Meghan. There's so much more I want to talk about, including this interview with, there he is.
Why on it?
Scobie says UK law prevents
Conversation with her, and it's why I personally think that they have been able to move forward with.
Oh, those eyebrows, man. They are well groomed. Good job, sir. We are going to watch this and so much more to get into this. And I want to get your comments, guys. I am clipping here for the main show just so we can have a stopping point of around 39 minutes. But make sure if you haven't already, hit subscribe to Steph the Alter Nerd. Watch her watch party. She read the whole book, so you don't have to. And lots more insight will be coming over there. So hit the subscribe button. In fact, make sure you go check out her video where she goes into her world exclusive of Omid Scobie contacting her. Sussex Squad won't be happy. And yes, Exposing the Lies, both of those big, long streams are there. You can find them. You need to clip these, Steph. They're too long, but people can, or at least put some chapters in there so people can find it. But those are two really good ones if you can spare, holy crap, 14 hours of your day to watch both of those. Go check them out. They're important, and there's some good stuff in there. But she's got a lot of other short stuff. So go support Steph the Alter Nerd. Let's get her 100K. We're so close to 80K, and so much more coming. So subscribe there. Subscribe here. If you're watching live, what are you waiting for? Make sure you've hit the subscribe button on all the channels. Hit the bell. Smash that like button and leave a comment as well, because the engagement helps us all.